Good morning and welcome to Happy Club. Today, Dr. Helms talks to the children about being recognized.
Oh boy. Hello, boys and girls. Good to see you this morning. How are you doing?
You're Mr. Twinkle Michael.
Oh, you think so, huh? Can't fool you. Well, I just rode in from the 18th century. It's a long ride from the 18th century. My horse is just parked out there. It's a bit tired right now. But even though you think I'm Preacher Michael, I'm really someone else today. I'm going by the name of, anybody want to care to guess? George Washington. I'm not that old. Actually, I'm famous for a midnight ride. Paul Revere, Paul Revere, Paul Revere. History hasn't been so kind to me, boys and girls. Have you ever had someone get all the credit for something and you got no recognition at all? Has that ever happened to any of you? Well, it will. You just wait. It happened to me. My name is William Dawes. Anyone ever heard of William Dawes? See, but you've heard of Paul Revere. I was with Paul Revere on the famous midnight ride from Lexington to Concord, but I bet you didn't know Paul Revere never made it to Concord. Didn't know that little bit of history, did you? Actually, Dr. Samuel Prescott was the only one of the three of us that made it all the way to Concord to say, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" Actually, me and Paul Revere were captured by the British. And he got all the credit because of that poet named Longfellow who said, "Listen, children, and now you will hear of the long-lost story of Paul Revere." His name just happened to rhyme with the word "here." So I have a little poem of my own this morning. I am a wandering bitter shade, never of me was a hero made. Poets have never sung my praise, nobody crowned my brow with bays. And if you ask me the fatal cause, I only answer, my name was Dawes. 'Tis all very well for the children to hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere, but why should my name be quite forgot? Who rode as boldly and as well, God wot? Why should I ask? The reason is clear. My name was Dawes, and his name Revere. When the lights from the Old North Church flashed out, Paul Revere was waiting about, but I was already on my way. The shadows of night fell cold and gray as I rode with never a break or a pause, but what was the use when my name was Dawes? History rings with his silver name close to me or the portals of fame. Had he been Dawes and I Revere, no one would have heard of him, I fear. No one has heard of me because he was Revere and I was Dawes. I bet some of you will one day be sitting in a classroom and a teacher will notice someone else and you will be sitting there doing your work very quietly and neatly and you will not be noticed. But never, never worry, boys and girls, because the Lord up above, He sees you and He notices you, and the Bible says He knows the very number of hairs that are on your head. And I suppose the good and bad of that is that God all sees what we do and say. Every word, every thought, He knows. And that is why all of us must rely on the goodness of God, the grace of God. We will all die and we'll pass away, and history will probably do us all as it has done me. 100 years from now, your name will be gone and forgotten, perhaps by most, if not by all. But by the good Lord above, He will not have forgotten you. Hopefully, if you have not forgotten him. The thief on the cross to Jesus' right, he said to Jesus, "Will thou remember me?" And Jesus says to him, "Today thou wilt be with me in paradise." Do you know what day this is, boys and girls? It is July what?
The 4th.
It is July the 4th, and look at this child with here flags waving. It is July the 4th, and it is on this day that we remember those who helped birth America. And I, for one, would like to remind you of some very important words in the history of our country. You perhaps have not read these since you were in grammar school. And were you listening when they were read? I shall not read them all, but let me read for you just a few. Of the Declaration of Independence. I know this will bore you, my children, but let me read just a few of these. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them together, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That means, boys and girls, that all of you have the right to pursue being happy. That to secure these rights, governments are instructed among men deriving their just powers, bless you, from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Boys and girls, today you are free and you are allowed to wear those flags on your head, my dear child, because of the sacrifices of people today whom you do not know their names. And that is why on July 4th, we celebrate and we give God thanks for those who came before us, and we celebrate our independence. We thank God so that you, my children, can grow up and continue to live in an America that is free. Well, my horse is waiting. I must travel now back to the 18th century from whence I came. Bye.
If you would like to involve your child or a grandchild in Happy Club, we invite you to attend either of our 2 services each Sunday at First Baptist Church of Jefferson, Georgia, located at 246 Washington Street. And if you would like more information on the importance of establishing a church home, please call, write, or email us today.